Have you ever stood up for just 2 seconds, walked into the kitchen, the bathroom, or even the hallway, and suddenly your cat appears right behind you like a tiny silent chat? At first, it seems funny, maybe even random, but after a while, you start noticing something strange. No matter where you go, your cat keeps following. Room to room, morning to night. Sometimes they don't even want anything. They just come with you. And that raises a question most cat owners never really stop to ask. Why? Why would an animal known for independence, distance, and personal space choose to trail behind a human over and over again? Is it hunger, habit, curiosity? Or is there something much deeper going on beneath that quiet little behavior? Because the truth is, when a cat follows you everywhere, it usually means more than people think. In fact, it can reveal how your cat sees you, how safe they feel around you, and whether they've formed a bond with you that goes far beyond food. And once you understand what that behavior really means, you may never look at your cat the same way again. Let's start with the first hidden reason your cat follows you everywhere. 1. You've become their moving safe zone. Most people think cats feel safe in places: a sunny window, a favorite blanket, a quiet bed. And yes, they do. But cats don't only attach safety to locations, they also attach safety to presence. That means over time, your cat may stop seeing safety as just a corner of the house and start seeing you as the safest thing in it. This happens slowly, quietly, often without the owner realizing it. Your cat watches how you move, how you speak, how you react, whether you're gentle, whether you're predictable, whether your presence brings calm or stress. And when enough calm is repeated over enough days, something changes in their mind. You stop being just the person who lives there. You become part of their security system. That's why some cats follow their person even when nothing exciting is happening. You're not holding treats. You're not opening a can. You're not doing anything special. But your cat still gets up and comes after you because in their emotional map of the home, your movement matters. If you move, the center of safety moves too. And this is especially true for indoor cats who are deeply bonded to one person. Their world is smaller than ours. Their routines are tighter. Their emotional anchors are stronger. So when their favorite human changes rooms, it's not a small event. It shifts the environment. To your cat, following you may simply be their way of staying close to the most trusted point in their world. And if that sounds dramatic, watch what happens when your cat is in a totally relaxed state. Maybe they're half asleep on the couch. You stand up and leave. A few seconds later, you hear paws behind you. That isn't always need. Sometimes that is attachment in its purest form. 2. They are checking that the bond is still there. Cats are often described as aloof, but that word hides something important. Many cats are emotionally subtle, not emotionally absent. They don't always demand reassurance the way dogs do. They don't run up dramatically every time you return from the next room. But many cats still seek emotional confirmation in smaller, quieter ways. Following is one of those ways. When your cat trails behind you, sits near you, or waits outside a door, they may be checking something very simple. Are you still here? Are we still connected? Is everything still normal? Cats rely heavily on pattern and routine. When life feels stable, they relax. When something shifts, even slightly, they notice. And because you are a major part of that routine, your movement can trigger their need to reconfirm closeness. This is why some cats follow most intensely during stressful times, after a move, after guests leave, after another pet is introduced, after you've been away more than usual, after your schedule changes. People often interpret that as clingy behavior, but sometimes it's actually emotional recalibration. Your cat is trying to make sure the relationship still feels the same. That tiny shadowing behavior can be their version of reconnecting, not with words, not with dramatic affection, but with proximity. And for a species that evolved to hide vulnerability, choosing proximity repeatedly is not meaningless. It's trust made visible. 3. Your cat may see you as the leader of important information. Cats are always gathering information. Even when they look sleepy, they're tracking sound, smell, motion, timing, and change. Their environment is constantly being scanned, and in a domestic home, you are often the biggest source of meaningful change. You open doors. You bring food. You notice strange sounds. You respond to visitors. You control lights. You create movement. You influence the rhythm of the entire space. So from your cat's point of view, following you isn't just emotional. It can also be strategic. Where you go often tells them what happens next. If you walk to the kitchen, maybe food is involved. If you go to the bedroom, maybe rest is coming. If you head to the front door, something unfamiliar might happen. If you enter a room they don't normally access, that room suddenly becomes relevant. You are, in a very real sense, a walking source of environmental updates. That doesn't make the bond less special. It actually shows how deeply woven you are into your cat's understanding of life. They aren't only attached to you emotionally, they also see you as important to how the world works. And once again, that's much bigger than my cat is nosy. Yes, curiosity plays a part, but repeated following is rarely just random curiosity. It's often a mix of trust, monitoring, habit, and emotional interest all at once. Your cat may be saying, "Where you go matters, so I'm going." 2. 4. They enjoy your energy more than you realize. There's something people underestimate about cats. Cats are incredibly sensitive to emotional atmosphere, not just loud versus quiet, not just safe versus unsafe. They also pick up on pacing, tension, emotional steadiness, and the overall feeling a person carries into a room. That means your cat may follow you not because you're doing something interesting, but because being near your energy feels regulating. Have you ever noticed your cat following you more when you're calm, more during quiet evenings, more when you're doing ordinary things like folding, laundry, making tea, or sitting at your desk? That's not accidental. Many cats deeply enjoy low-pressure companionship. They don't always want to be touched. They don't always want to be held. But they often want to be with the person whose presence feels safest and easiest on their nervous system. In that sense, following isn't always a request. Sometimes it's a preference. Out of the whole house, out of every bed, chair, shelf, and sunny patch, your cat chooses your orbit. That says something. And for cats that are especially bonded, your emotional state can influence their behavior more than you think. If you're upset, they may watch more closely. If you're sick, they may stay near longer. If you're peaceful, they may settle nearby and mirror that calm too. Humans, this can seem mysterious. To cats, it may simply be instinct. Stay near what feels stable. So if your cat quietly follows you from room to room and then just flops down nearby, without asking for anything, don't dismiss that moment. That may be one of the purest forms of feline affection. There is not demanding, not loud, not dramatic, just chosen closeness. 5. They may be protecting their access to you. This part surprises a lot of people. Cats are not only affectionate, they can also be quietly possessive, not in the obvious way humans think of jealousy, but in a more subtle territorial emotional way. Cats pay close attention to who belongs where, what routines exist, and what resources matter. And yes, in some homes, you become one of those resources, a very important one. If your cat has strongly bonded to you, they may follow you partly to maintain access, not because they want to control you, but because closeness itself has value. Your attention matters. Your let matters. Your voice matters. Your availability matters. This is especially noticeable in multi-pet homes. One cat may suddenly start following you more when another pet gets your attention, or your cat may insert themselves between you and another animal, or they may show up the moment you start interacting with someone else in the house. People often laugh and say, "My cat is jealous." And while we should be careful not to humanize every behavior too much, there is something real happening there. Your cat may be monitoring social access. They know who gets your attention. They know when the emotional spotlight shifts. And if they care deeply about their place in your world, they may physically stay closer to avoid losing that connection. In other words, following can sometimes be love mixed with social vigilance. That doesn't make it unhealthy, it makes it meaningful. Your cat isn't simply wandering around, they are staying involved in them. Relationship. 6. Your cat may follow you because you've become part of their routine identity. Cats love predictability. But here's the part most people miss. Routines are not just schedules to cats. They become identity structures. Morning isn't just morning. It's the sequence of events that defines safety. The alarm, the footsteps, the bathroom light, the coffee sound, the opening of curtains, the greeting, the feeding, the chair you sit in, the exact path you take through the house. Cats memorize these things in extraordinary detail, and over time, your cat may not just expect your routine. They may emotionally organize themselves around it. That means when you move through your usual patterns, they follow because you are part of the structure that tells them life is normal. This is why some cats follow most during certain times of day rather than all day long. Maybe they trail you only in the morning, or only at night, or only when you return home. Those aren't random windows, those are emotionally loaded transitions in the day. Your cat may be participating in the ritual, and rituals matter deeply to animals. In human terms, it's almost like your cat is saying, "This is our time, this is what we do, this is how the day makes sense." Once you see it that way, following behavior becomes less about neediness and more about shared life. Your cat is not just living beside you, they are living with you. 7. Your cat may be trying to communicate without making demands. One of the most misunderstood things about cats is the way they communicate desire. Dogs often communicate outwardly. Cats often communicate indirectly. They hint, they position themselves, they appear, they wait, they watch. Following can be one of those communication styles. Your cat may be saying, "I'm a little bored. I want interaction. I want to see what you're doing. I'd like comfort. I want to be included. I don't want to be alone right now." But instead of meowing loudly or pawing at you, they simply follow. This matters because owners sometimes miss the emotional richness of quiet behavior. They respond only when the cat becomes vocal or disruptive. But by then, the cat may have already been communicating for several minutes through softer signals. The slow walk behind the pause in the doorway, the sit and steer near your feet, the silent escort from one room to another. These are not empty behaviors, they are social signals. And if you begin noticing them earlier, you can deepen the bond dramatically. A quick acknowledgement, a calm word, a brief pet, a short play session, or simply allowing your cat to stay near and reinforce trust in a powerful way. Because what your cat often wants most is not constant stimulation, it's responsive presence. They want to feel that when they reach toward you in their own quiet language, you notice. 8. If your cat follows you into private spaces, that means even more. Let's talk about the bathroom behavior for a second, because nearly every cat owner knows it. You get up, you head to the bathroom, and somehow your cat acts like this is the most important event of the day. Why? Part of it is access and curiosity. Yes, closed doors are irresistible to cats. But there's another layer that people overlook. Small enclosed spaces create intense moments of shared stillness. When you're in the bathroom, you're usually not multitasking, you're not pacing, you're not talking to someone else, you're not distracted by screens the same way. To a cat, that environment can feel unusually focused and predictable. In other words, it can feel intimate. Your cat may follow you there because it becomes guaranteed proximity, a brief pocket of uninterrupted togetherness. And if they sit, watch, or relax instead of begging for something, that's often your clue. They're not there for the room, they're there for the closeness. It sounds absurd to us, but to a cat, following you into a quiet enclosed space may be one of the easiest ways to maintain contact, which is why many owners laugh about bathroom escorts without realizing it may actually reflect a very strong bond. 9. Not all following means the same thing. Now, This part is important. Not every cat follows for the same reason. And not every instance of following is emotional. Sometimes it is hunger. Sometimes it's routine. Sometimes it's boredom. Sometimes it's learned association. If every time your cat follows you, you immediately feed them, they may absolutely repeat the behavior for that outcome. But what makes the behavior meaningful is the pattern around it. Does your cat still follow when food is not involved? Do they stay near even after nothing exciting happens? Do they follow only you or everyone? Do they seem calmer when they reach you? Do they trail you and then simply rest nearby? If the answer to those questions is yes, then you're probably seeing more than food motivation. You're seeing attachment behavior, and once you recognize that, your job is not to overreact, it's to honor it. That means not punishing your cat for wanting closeness, not assuming they're annoying, not brushing off every shadowing behavior as manipulation. Because some cats express devotion in obvious ways, and some express it by quietly choosing your company again and again and again. 10. The deepest meaning may be the simplest one of all. Out of every room in the house, out of every object, out of every hiding place, high perch, warm blanket, and silent corner, your cat keeps choosing to follow you. That choice matters. Cats are selective creatures. They do not give repeated attention casually. They do not keep returning to the same being without reason. If your cat follows you often, especially calmly and consistently, there is a strong chance you have become central to their emotional life. Not just the feeder, not just the cleaner, not just the human in the house, but their person. And that title in the world of a cat is earned slowly, through safety, through routine, through gentleness, through predictability, through being there over and over until your presence becomes part of what home feels like. So the next time your cat follows you into the kitchen, down the hallway, into the bedroom, or waits outside the door, pause before assuming it means nothing. Your cat may be telling you something. Very few animals can say so quietly and so clearly, "I feel safest when I know where you are," and maybe in their own silent way, "I just want to be near you." If your cat follows you everywhere, don't just call them clingy. You may be looking at love in one of its softest forms. If this video made you understand your cat a little differently, let me know in the comments. Does your cat follow you everywhere? And what do they do when they catch up to you? And if you want more deep insights into what your cat is really thinking and feeling, subscribe and stay close, because your cat has been speaking all along. You just needed to know how to listen.